Wormhole's going live. 3, 2.
This is The Wormhole, presented by Team FearWorm. Interviews, education, anything and everything to do with Halloween and haunted houses. And of course, marketing.
Well, hey everybody. I did that on purpose just so everybody knows. Today is a special wormhole. We're talking about something a little different today. We're talking about food, beverage, and haunted houses and how that can relate to your marketing. So that is the Halloween Horror Nights Blinky Cup. The Blinky doesn't work anymore. But that is a souvenir cup from Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. And but today I'm joined by someone we probably haven't seen in a while on a wormhole. So let me go ahead and bring in FearWormer Laura Kilpatrick. We're going to talk about all things food and beverage with our special guest today. Laura, how are you?
Hey everyone, I'm doing great today. It's Friday, can't beat that, and a wormhole. You know, we always love bringing you guys unique and exciting information, and today we have a special one, so I'm excited for it. Looking forward to it.
For sure. Yeah, this is going to be exciting. We have not only an expert and leader in the food and beverage realm of entertainment and amusement. She is a multi IAAPA speaker, has spoken at several different conventions. I think maybe she mentioned TEA or something like that. But we will get into that. But I don't want to waste another second. So let's go ahead and bring on our special guest, Miss Tina Griffith. I hope I am not butchering that last name. But Tina, how are you? Welcome to the wormhole.
Hi guys. No, you did great. You didn't call me Griffin, so we're good.
Griffin, yeah.
Awesome. Hooray, we're successful.
Well, welcome to the wormhole. I know this is going to be a little different for our audience because we're not featuring someone within the industry. We're not featuring someone specifically that's haunted house related, which is great. Our goal with the wormhole is we've been trying to find people and experts from outside the industry to pull in, and we can pick their brains and we can go down the wormhole of all these topics. Tina, if you can, give us a little few minute intro on who you are and how you got to be where you are.
Well, I started in the stadium world about probably 25 years ago. I had gotten laid off from my job. I was in the freight industry, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't you come be a bartender at Dodger Stadium?" I lived in Southern California, and I went to go apply there, and they needed some supervisors, and I started out selling hot dogs for my very favorite team. And 2020 World Series winner, just in case anybody wondered. And then it just kind of blossomed from there. I always say that in food and beverage, like what I do, and I got into it by accident. It kind of sucked me in and kept me there. I went on to work at the Staples Center, went on to work for the Cowboys, and all over stadiums all over the country, really just feeding large groups of people and trying to raise up hospitality in what people were expecting at places all over the country. Did some Live Nation stuff and got out of that. Did some water park food for a little while. It was a little contract. And now I'm at Trader's Village, which is the largest year-round flea market in the U.S. We're about 175 acres. We have about 50 acres of vendor area and food and beverage. We have about 60 food and beverage locations throughout. So we've got some Thai food, we've got your regular fare food, we've got Mexican food all over the place. You name it, we've got it. Some really great micheladas, a couple cantinas, and we feed about 2.5 million people per year. So it's kind of a big operation, but we love it.
Absolutely. And you guys are adding, I mean, or at least you have, some rides or attractions and different things that you have there on site at Traders Village, right?
Yes, we are building this Prairie Screamer, which is a pretty large roller coaster that we got from Scandia Park in Ontario, California. They closed, they had it, we bought it, we're putting it up, and we hope all of our fingers and toes are crossed that end of May, beginning of June, we will have people actually screaming on the Prairie Screamer. That's really what our hope is.
So
Yeah,
Traders Village is just much more than the world's or the country's largest, flea market. It is
Yes.
literally like a park. So, you have rides, you have attractions, you do events, these massive food festivals all through the year,
Mhm.
plus the trader, like the shopping and everything. Tina, tell me a little bit about your experience. Like, what got you into speaking within the entertainment amusement industry, especially at IAAPA? And I believe you also mentioned TEA, things like that.
Yeah, NFMA, so National Flea Market Association. I speak there every year. Believe it or not, there is an association for flea marketers because you got to think they're kind of everywhere. They may be called different places or different things in different places or in different countries. They're a bazaar or they're this or that, but it's still a flea market. In Australia, they're called, was it a knick-knack? She told me the name of it. It was a really cute little name, but it was the name for a flea market. But I have a passion for teaching. That's something that I love to do. If you ask my parents, I also have a passion for talking a lot. So it it helps. And when I was first in the water park industry, 2016, I was working for the guy who's now the chairman of IAAPA. His name is Ken Whiting. And I had the opportunity to speak at a water park symposium. And at that point, I spoke on marketing to millennials and experiential dining. And it was so much fun. And I was super nervous. And I got to go to IAAPA that year and watch people speak. And I was so fortunate to be able to join the Food and Beverage Committee at IAAPA. So every year I had to go, talk to people, sit down with people, make those connections, and really just help give information on how to make all of us haunt, amusement, it doesn't matter, museum, all of us who are feeding the masses or hanging out with the masses, how to just build up our businesses.
That's what I love to hear, and that's kind of like what we do. That's what we want to do with these wormholes and with our social media is just educate
Right.
and talk about these different aspects. We try. Obviously, we are haunted house focused.
Mm-hmm.
With a name like FearWorm, you kind of have to be. But we try to focus these wormholes on many topics. We've talked about safety and security. We've had haunt owners on talking about their years or how they operate their businesses. I'm glad to have someone like you who is a food and beverage director that has spoke at IAAPA, spoke at all of these conventions and trade shows, and is a leader and an expert in this area. And so I guess my first question for you, and I guess our first point of discussion is, if a haunted house owner is watching right now and they don't currently sell food and beverage or they don't have these things in place, what's your idea here? Like, how could someone get started in this? What should they be thinking and what should they be looking for?
Well, if they don't have a program in place at all, they want to start small and start simple, especially if they're an established or even semi-established haunt that people maybe tend to return to every year. So you're getting your clientele, right? You've sucked them in with the haunt and the really cool, scary stuff. But one of the things that we need to think is, based on what you're doing, what are their needs? So when I go to a scary haunted house, I walk in and I'm like, and I'm sweating and like running and doing all those things. So what happens when I get to the end? Holy mackerel, I'm so thirsty, right? Because I've just yelled and screamed and hollered and everything else. And so we want to start super simple. We want to start with maybe a water. Always start with water. Just sell water. And then try to come up with something that's gonna be special to your brand. Maybe we're gonna come up with a beverage. And if you want to venture into alcohol, an alcoholic beverage, but understand that there's lots of licensing permits and cost involved in that. So even if you're not thinking that, think about some soft drinks, some water, maybe a fancy cup that you can sell that people are going to want to bring back. One of the things that I like to buy all over the place, these are like these squishy cups this is from Elitch Gardens in Denver. I've got a bottle. I love this one because I take it all kinds of places with me from Hershey Park. It's really cool because it just unscrews and then it has a strap and I can carry it around. So something that people can bring back and maybe get $1 off their next drink. What you're trying to do is get that repeat. One good thing that I like is, depending on how long they're going to stay there, your length of stay. So if they're coming through, and is there an average on haunts on how long it takes you from the time you get there to the time you're at the end? Is there an average?
Yeah, it's about 45 minutes is average across the country.
I mean, there's definitely some smaller shows that might be like 20, 25-minute walkthrough.
All right.
I would say somewhere between the 20 to 25 minutes and then, the 45 maybe.
Okay, so up from there. So by the time I'm done, I'm going to want something to drink, and maybe I just want a cupcake. Just a super full cupcake, or a really cool cake pop.
Oh, yeah.
A little Frankenstein cake pop or something like that. Something that is simple, that maybe initially you don't even do yourself. Reach out to a local, like, family-owned bakery and say, hey, I want to sell cupcakes. Or reach out to somebody, like, everybody knows somebody's mom makes cake pops. You know what I mean? So find a mom who makes cake pops and have those things there and start real simple. Then what you're going to do is they're going to be like, oh man, I'm going to go to this attraction do you remember that cupcake? Like, I was just at the Miami Open in Miami, of course, because it's Miami. And they had donuts there. Mojo Donuts in Miami. I'm still thinking about those donuts.
Yeah, it's like when we go to Universal and there's like the voodoo donuts, like right
exactly. So it's those things that don't require this huge, big ordeal to begin with, but something that they're going to think about when they leave. Never discount the use of dry ice, liquid nitrogen. I muted myself.
You got a little too excited with the dry ice.
Yeah, my hands, they don't behave themselves. Liquid nitrogen in your drinks, bubbly stuff. There's Whirly Drinkworks is one of the biggest in a souvenir company that I've worked with for many years. And you can buy a small amount of things or a big amount of things. You can buy blinky things. You can buy squishy things. You can buy things with straps on them. There's so many. And then there are some smaller companies. You can even Google souvenir cup company and get 200 of something made.
Yeah.
And then slap the date on it. Slap the year.
Yeah. See, that's what I like. Go ahead.
You make it a little different.
See, that's what I like.
Right?
And when you brought up experiential events and like those things, like we always preach this as a marketing agency. It's like your event, your brand is it has to become a tradition that people go to every year. And that's how we treat all of our clients here at FearWorm. Our clients are the haunted house tradition they go to during the fall. And so with that thinking, it's like I love the idea of these like novelty items or experiential items that you can buy. Just like when you go to the fall festival and you get the hot cider or the corn dog or the turkey leg, the funnel cake.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like we've all had those experiences where it's like, hey, you know, let's go to the pumpkin patch, and while we're there, we're gonna get, you know, the hot cider, we're gonna grab the homemade candies and fudge, you know, because that's what you remember when you go to Halloween Horror Nights. You know, they have like the Halloween cupcakes or the special candies or the flavored popcorns, the alcoholic drinks that are in the blinky cups. You know, it's
I
all of those things. That's what you remember.
I really like the
Yeah.
idea of those Frankenstein like cake pops and stuff like that. I
Mhm.
feel like you could really network and work with a local community bakery or shop, cross promote. They're going to promote that these special, unique, one of a kind like Halloween treats are only available at your haunted house. Your haunted house social media can then promote, hey, if you love this bakery, we've got this special treat, you know, come run through the haunt, you know, work off, you know, some of that cardio, I guess, and then treat
Right?
yourself with a little Frankenstein treat. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that sounds so cool. Like, I already want one. I would love to have a Frankenstein
This is-
cake pop.
Right.
This-
And the nice thing is that, you know, you have some haunts who will do a Valentine haunt or an Easter haunt. So you have so many opportunities to get your Valentine haunt cake pop or your Valentine haunt cup, like the one that you have, Laura, the coffee cup, the lenticular one.
Oh, yes. I haven't shown
You
this
know,
one yet.
that's super simple, but wouldn't it be cool if you had a Valentine's one like that? That was really simple. And you had a Easter one.
Well, I want to
And
look at that cup again. So, Laura, can you hold that cup again? Because here's a great spot, and this is where we're going to start tying things into marketing and where your haunted house marketing can help. The back of that cup, Laura, has sponsors on it, and so if you're an event that takes sponsors and you have sponsors that are there for your event, put them on a merch like this. Like a cup is a great thing, a popcorn bucket,
Absolutely.
a great thing to put your sponsors on, and that's an added value to them, and it may even help cover the cost of printing these cups or buckets or things like that.
Absolutely. And this was a cup that I got. We went to go see Beetlejuice on Broadway. So this was done by that production. And if you've been to any of my seminars, you know I love Beetlejuice the musical so much. Their social media is amazing, but even down to this little detail, they definitely didn't skimp. They bought a nice cup. They knew people would keep this. It's great advertisement, and then they had someone help them pay for it. So,
absolutely.
And that's the other thing too, is when you go down this route, and Tina, I would love to hear your opinion on this as well. And we always used to say this in the restaurant world, is just don't be cheap. People will pay for something that's really cool, like a Blinky cup with your logo and a scary clown on it, or a Beetlejuice souvenir cup, or a cup from Hershey Park. People will pay for those memories that they can take home with them. Like this came home with us. And so don't be cheap. Tina, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know some haunt owners may say like, well, a Blinky cup, I have to order 1,000 of them and I'm going to be out $10,000 or whatever. But how much should that is there ways to do this that are cost effective, or should you just not go cheap, do the best thing you can, and whatever the price is, just pass it on and just work it into the cost to the customer?
Well, I think it depends on your budget. A couple years ago, we started where I'm at is a slush factory, and it's where you can get your remember the old it's not like a icy, the slush puppies.
Oh,
You guys remember slush puppies?
Yeah.
So it's like a slush puppy, and we have this Blinky cup, the slush factory Blinky cup. And I was selling for $10. And my boss said, there is absolutely no way people are going to pay $10 for that. And then I sold like 125 in one day. And I was like, hey, Tim, look, sold 125. And he was like, what? So yeah, nighttime attractions. What would be cooler than a Blinky cup at a nighttime attraction?
This right here was like $22, or it was above $20. Now the great thing with this, and I know you hinted at this earlier, is you paid for this once, and it was fairly expensive, like $22 or $28. It's as an alcoholic drink from Halloween Horror Nights, but you got this all night, and then you can go refill it for cheaper than buying a new drink every single time. So it's a refillable souvenir cup. And yes, I buy these every year. We have a ton of these, and they're so great to have. And like, I really don't care what the cost is as a consumer. I love Halloween Horror Nights. This is the one thing I always come home with. And so that's what we need haunt owners to start maybe thinking about. Like, your brand, you are the
Absolutely.
Halloween Horror Nights in your market. And so what is something like this that your hardcore fans will just love and they'll take home, and no matter the cost, they will pay for it because they love it.
And even if your budget isn't where you can afford blinky cups, they're not cheap. A simple cup, I mean, this one's made out of silicone. They have plastic ones, just a simple plastic stadium cup. It'll cost you $1.25 a piece. Sell it for $5. You're going to make a little bit of money off of it, but sell red ones and blue ones and green ones. And then they're going to get the red one this time. But, oh my God, I got to go back and I got to get the green ones.
Yep.
You know, Starbucks gets me every time because they come out with those stupid like cups with the straws. And you know, every time I'm in Starbucks, I got to buy one.
Yeah,
and
Laura has a bunch.
Yeah. And I can see how much I spend because my husband will probably watch this. But I spend, you know, like some money on it. And I have a whole bunch. And then I collect coffee mugs everywhere I go. Again, my husband's getting tired of building shelves for those too. But that's what it is start simple. If you can't afford blinky cups, that's okay.
So I have a great example here. This is from a FearWorm client of ours. This is Infernum and Terra. They're in West Virginia. They have a little shot glass with their logo on it.
Cool.
Super simple, but people love them, you know, and maybe at the event you could sell a shot glass with a shot in it, and you just get to take the shot glass home. If you want to sell alcohol at your event, you could do like with Infernum, you could do like the Hellfire shot, and it's like Fireball and simple syrup and something else, and you could do your shot and keep your shot glass, and you could charge, you know, $16 or whatever it is for the shot, or, you know, I don't know how much these are, but I'm telling you, people will buy them because they want a good time. They want that experience. They want that experiential event that they can go to.
Yeah.
So I just saw a question on here and it says thoughts on the year being on the product. But say they don't sell. So that's a really great question.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is start small, and we're going to say while supplies last. So maybe you only buy 100 of them and they go like gangbusters and people are like, oh man, I didn't get one. While supplies last. If you're venturing out the very first time you on selling something like this, maybe say, all right, 5% of my clientele, 2 to 5% are going to buy something. Think about how many you've had on average, and maybe start a little bit lower than that and say while supplies last. We always want to create demand, right?
Well,
that's for everything. You can think of Beanie Babies at McDonald's. Remember that? All these things. Yeah. We're also going to, we don't want to get 100,000 and saturate the market because then nobody wants it.
You could even maybe include something like this in a pre-order, right? Let's say you're doing a pre-sale and you want to sell some tickets before you even open. And maybe design the cup and include the souvenir cup in the purchase of this pre-sale. And you only get the souvenir cup if you buy tickets early on to your season. And then guess what? You know exactly how many you have to buy now because you've done the pre-sale. So
exactly.
You know, another great thing to look at, thinking about experiential events, but like Disney. So Disney will oftentimes, they have merch that both sells out and they don't sell out. But what they'll do, even the dated things. So like right now is the 50th anniversary of Disney World. And a lot of those things are going to sell out because you're never going to have a 50th anniversary again. But some things won't. But what you could do, and what Disney does, what Universal does, and I think what a lot of theme parks do, is that the old merch that are dated will just go into a vault, and then 5 years later, 3 years later, they bring it back, and it just sits there, and they bring it back, and now it's like a throwback piece. Like, in case you missed it, here's a throwback to like our T-shirt that was from 2011, or here's the shot glass that was dated from 2020.
Well,
you know, so you can do those things as well.
Don't they also with Disney pass stuff off to their cast members too? It's like they have a specific cast shop or cast member shop where they get a
Mhm.
little
Yeah.
bit of a discount, and they can buy those items at a little bit of a cheaper rate, but you're still selling them. A cast member is definitely going to want to walk away with something like that, especially to commemorate, you know, them being on your team for that year, and passing on some of the savings too to them is a great deal, to kind of help support your cast. But I don't know. To me, I think people are definitely, if they don't get a hold of that cup, you're going to have a super fan that's going to want that, and it's not going to matter to them if they missed out on the year, probably. But
And I agree. And also, if you're creeping toward the end of your year or the end of your season, then maybe, and you've got maybe a shot glass and a cup, then you start selling it at the bundle. Buy a cup and get a shot glass for free, or buy a cup and get the shot glass half off, or something like that, where you just start bundling them together. But people are going to buy them. They're going to love them. If you buy a cup now, on your first time you come back next year, you'll get half off a shot or whatever. Like that. And so on your very last week, on your very last month, depending on how long your season is, that particular time of season, then all right, buy it now. You'll get a free drink when you come back. Or if you buy it now, when you come back, you'll get $2 off next year's cup.
Yeah.
So those are things you can really start kind of wheeling and dealing at the end of your season, to get those things. And you don't necessarily have to date them, but sometimes people kind of like that. Or if you decide not to date them, then this year is red, next year is green, and theme it. Especially a haunt is so perfect, because what do you have in a haunt? You have characters, and you have really cool characters. You got like the scary guy with the chainsaw and the other weird lady and all of these things. Yeah, you have characters. So this year you put the scary guy with the chainsaw on it, and next year maybe it's 2 characters, and then we're creating that demand. And eventually we'll have all the characters. How many commercials do you see that say collect them all?
right,
Right?
absolutely.
Collect them all. But that can go for your cake pops. That can go for a signature drink. That can go for a signature food item. And for those haunts that have already an established food and beverage, then we're just going to try and build that up. Maybe I always say that it's your simple T-ball fare. So we've got hot dogs, Frito pie, and nachos, right? Those things anybody can pull off. You need a crock pot, and you need a table, and probably a health permit. But
Is it really probably though?
items, well, most likely a health permit. But always go to your health department and find out what you need. Sometimes it's easier than others, but I've come to find that all over the entire country, people buy 2 things: hot dogs and nachos, and burgers. But burger is kind of a little bit, but you can do hot dogs in a crock pot, right? You can do nachos in a crock pot. We can do super simple. Super simple. We're going to start super simple. And if that works, then maybe we toss a barbecue in the back and we barbecue up some burgers. And if that works, maybe we want something a little bit more permanent. But we don't have to start out with building a $500,000 kitchen with all of this stuff. We can start with the things that we know people buy. Nachos and hot dogs. I swear to you.
Yeah.
Everybody buys nachos and hot dogs.
That's the thing too. Like when we go to these events, and specifically looking at theme parks, because they sell all kinds of things, and how that can translate to haunts. If you don't have a kitchen, I mean, you can sell prepackaged things, popcorn, the prepackaged brownies and cookies. Even the cupcake can be prepackaged. Yep. And it's that packaging that you really want.
Candy.
Yeah, exactly. You can do a green and black cotton candy. You throw your logo on the packaging on a sticker, and you're done. I mean, it's that simple.
And with haunted houses, I think you can even get a little edgy and kind of fun with some of your signage too when it comes to offering concessions. Like when I was doing graphic design for Zombie Manor in Arlington, Texas, they had a little concession spot, and I put on the signs, where it basically said what was available and the prices. The zombies are gonna like it. You taste a little better when you're well fed. Like have a snack before you become the snack, stuff like that. And people
Let's
really
get you all sweetened up so you're their dessert.
right, like you taste better when you've had a treat. So feel free, like have one.
That's great.
Yeah, so the signage really would make people laugh, and they kind of get in line and have a little treat while they're waiting, and then they taste a little better. So the zombies liked it too.
Well, this is I think the grand idea here is that as a marketing agency, we're always trying to find ways to help our clients increase revenue. This is a stream, an outlet that you and your event can increase revenue. And it's those little details, whether it is a souvenir cup, a shot glass, the signage that just like what Laura's talking about. It's little things like that are going to create this experiential event that people aren't going to want to miss year over year. And I want to segue this into talking about how does marketing play in this? We are a marketing agency. You're watching this on a marketing page for the haunted houses. And so how does, Tina, what's your opinion on when and how should you incorporate your marketing team or your on-site marketing person or whoever that is? If you don't have one, then how does marketing play into these things?
Oh, so important. It's so important to work from the start with your marketing team. From the start. So you come up with an idea. Like I always tell people, I sell hot dogs. I don't market things. I sell hot dogs. I may have some ideas behind what would be a good idea, but maybe my ideas aren't the best. But there are really good professionals like y'all that can go, Tina, maybe not, or you can say, hey, that's a great idea. Let's run with that. Myself, I come up with some concepts. Once I come up with a concept, I go immediately to my marketing team and say, how can we go about marketing this? So I have decided on a concept. I know how to build it. How are we going to market it? That's like step number 3. I've come up with everything I need, blah, blah, blah. All right, well, great. If you don't tell anybody about it, maybe it's not going to be as successful.
Right.
So you're immediately stepping up and you're going to, professionals like y'all, my marketing director. And I usually go into her office and she's like, oh dear, what now? And I say, okay, I've got this concept. We need to market it. And then we start collaborating. I think that it's so important to be a partner with your marketing people.
And that keyword right there, partner, that is so much how we feel. We look at all of our clients like they are our partners in this. And that's exactly what it is. It's a partnership. And there are some times I think where clients, maybe they don't realize that the hot dog or nachos could be exciting or something, or they don't realize that that special little donut that they picked up and decided to sell this year is going to be anything special that their audience might want to find out. Well, the idea behind it is marketing can help you make it special. And when you reach that audience with the right message, and they get excited about it, that's when magic really starts to happen. So absolutely are here to help our clients.
A good example of this, what y'all are talking about, was when Disney was releasing all their details for their 50th anniversary. A giant segment of that video was just about the food. They just did event like themed foods that you can just get during this time period during their 50th anniversary. And like that's a big part, whether it's in their videos or in their email marketing. Come get the exclusive hot dog that has like the funnel cake pieces broken up on top of it. Like it's just a crazy hot dog, but it's for the 50th. Like their chef kind of went crazy with things, and it's awesome. And they're selling out of these things.
It was a weird hot dog.
It was a weird hot dog. We tried it. It was a weird hot dog.
It was, and I-
But you remember it, right?
Yes.
and the entire time, like Tyler was eating it, like I was looking at him like, why are you eating that?
Yeah. It was weird. It was, but we remember it, and it is that something special because in a year you're not going to be able to get that hot dog again at Disney. So this is
Right.
like the only time of year you can do that, and it's not just like how do we get the message out or what name can we call it to make it special. It could be like, oh, Tyler has an idea. Maybe you're doing a red velvet cupcake. Great, let's do red velvet, but instead of white icing, make it black and put like
Yes.
candy glass that's stabbed into it.
So
To make it like haunted, to make it unique and make it custom.
I'm loving all of this because I'm feeling very inspired, and I'm kind of like, putting haunted attractions on the level of like a Disney or an HHN. It's like, to me, some of that stuff ends up being chef inspired at Disney.
Mhm. Absolutely.
What if you had a creepy chef character, or maybe you even have a creepy chef character or a butcher or some character that you can kind of elevate and give him a mock looking type of food truck or something, and then like name the things really weird, but they're really just hot dogs and
You don't
whatever.
even have to do all that. You can just have a hot dog named after the character in your
There you
concession.
go.
Yeah.
He doesn't
And-
have to be out there selling it,
Yeah,
but
and,
you could have his image on some of the signage. Like, I think stuff like
and it
that.
could be like a
so good.
sloppy, messy chili dog, with like
Mhm.
onions and things on it, and that's all it is that you're just taking regular food and just giving it a
How
name or
many-
giving it a theme,
Yeah.
making it unique, and it's
And how
for
many
you.
haunts have you seen, Tyler, where they have like those creepy lunch lady characters?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those are my
Everybody
favorite.
loves a creepy lunch lady. Let me tell you.
With the cigarette hanging out of her mouth. What do you want? What do you want for lunch? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
those
that's
are just
perfect.
great.
That turns, even if you're selling hot dogs and nachos, that turns it into part of the experience. Think about little kids, or not even quite little kids, pushing each other to go get a cupcake from the creepy lunch lady. Like, you go. Oh no, you go. Now, once that first kid goes and gets it, and they find out that it's not that scary, the rest of them are going to go get it. But those kids are going to go over there and they're going to stand 10 feet from the table, and they're all going to try to figure out who's going to go first, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
all of a sudden, that's part of the experience. They've walked out of this, or they're about to walk in, and so that it's not just getting a cake pop, it's it's facing the scary lunch lady. It's
I don't know
facing
why
the
I have the vision,
the
and our
creepy butcher.
viewers can relate to this, but I just have this vision of Tater as Granny,
Oh
and
God.
Granny slopping like a meatloaf sandwich down, or like
Now-
an apple pie, or something like that, just messing with people.
I have to say, this is showing me the different side of this. Like, it's definitely an experience if you had Granny back there doing stuff, but that also might not be safe.
Definitely not food safe.
Maybe not all the
Yeah.
maybe it's just a special appearance every once in a while if you stand in line early on, the character is there. But either way, the theming is good. Think outside of the box.
Absolutely.
Haunted houses have so much at their disposal. They've got these really great character actors, they have an awesome theme, and they have this reason and this purpose to kind of be edgy. And I would love to see some special things kind of happen for haunted attractions when it comes to food and beverage. Like,
Right.
yeah. So
Well,
hopefully this
think about
inspires-
the Chocolate Emporium. You've been to the Chocolate Emporium, right? In
Yeah.
Orlando?
Yes.
So I went to a dinner actually with Worley Drinkworks, who makes all the really cool souvenir cups, a few years ago. And I know I ate dinner. It was a dinner. I know I ate, but the only thing I remember are those
The
giant
milkshakes.
shakes,
Yeah.
like with a giant marshmallow and then a cupcake and a thing and a Hershey bar in it. So I know I ate food. I cannot remember the food, but this was 2016. I still have pictures of those giant shakes on my phone. I still have those. And year before last, or no, I guess it wasn't then. I was pandemic. Year before that, when I went, we specifically went there because there was something that I hadn't tried or there was something new.
And
it's a shake with a giant marshmallow and stuff. It's not rocket science.
and this actually brings up a really good point. If these special drinks or special treats or little food items, and start small, like only have one if you want, but
Yeah.
pieces are what Tyler would call like Instagrammable.
It has a
People are
cake on it.
gonna post
Yeah.
pictures like this. They're gonna tag where they're at. They're gonna share it on their social media. And it's just gonna be bringing more people to your event so that they can experience this thing. Foodies, let me tell you, foodies will travel.
Oh, yes, we will. Yes, we will.
Yeah.
I know this because
Yeah.
I'm dating one, but
So here's the thing, like that's a picture it's on my phone. We took it at the Chocolate Emporium at Universal City Walk, and I Instagrammed for sure that milkshake because it's incredible. And think about your haunt. Think about if you have like a killer sandwich or a crazy milkshake like that you can only get at your event, and some other person sees that and goes, "Holy crap, that looks delicious! I want that in my life. Where do I have to go to get that?" That's that organic marketing that Laura's talking about, and that's just another aspect of having some killer custom food and beverage for your event, because it is an experience. It's an event.
yeah.
And treat it as such.
And if there are certain nights too where, like, if you're watching this back and you're going, my October is crazy, my Fridays and Saturdays are crazy, I'm not gonna deal with this food stuff, maybe do it earlier on, like, and this could be a draw on Thursdays. You know, if they
Shot glass Thursdays.
if they go,
Yeah.
there you go. If they go on a Thursday, they get this special thing or whatever, you know, kind of sweeten the deal, and maybe drive some people to have this experience earlier on in the week. That could really help you, I think.
Here's the difference. I think this is where it becomes that experiential event marketing. Is that a typical haunted house ticket average across the country is about $30. So do you just want to make $30 a dollar, like a $30 per person that walks in your door, or while they're there, do you want to get more out of them and really make about $60 or $70 a person? You know, so it can be a huge revenue generator. Like, we're not talking about retail at all, but like merch sales. I can't tell you how many clients we talk to or people at Transworld we talk to that says, well, our merch exploded and we're making six figures on our merch now, and it's paying for the haunt. Like, the retail side of things is blowing up. Food and beverage, I think, is going to be the next thing that blows up. Just this year at Transworld, they had seminars on how to bring in like alcohol sales to an event. You know, it's like if I go to an event, I would love to have a cocktail and go get scared or watch a movie or do an event or see a concert.
I really want to have a cocktail anywhere.
Well, this is
that's
I do have a picture. I have the picture on my phone of a bucket, of a cocktail bucket that I had. It was like a big rum drink, and I literally had like half a pineapple shoved into it.
Well, and the way like Halloween Horror Nights does those mixed drinks, I think is really pretty smart, because they do like the pre-mixed drink. So they're not depending on their bartenders to do an actual full shot.
It's just like, take this, you fill it, the thing, and you're done.
Batch making, man. Batch make it. That's the smartest thing to do,
and
because then
really
you're getting
not that like
people through your lines.
It's just mostly juice.
And you know, another thing, we were talking about budgets, and we were talking about maybe I'm a small haunt and I don't have a big budget. You know, one of the greatest things for crafty people that exists right now is a Cricut. Those Cricut machines, you can make t-shirts, you can make mugs, you can make glasses, stickers, you can make those.
You buy blanks, and then just put your own on them.
Yeah, you can make lots of different things with a Cricut. And so many people are really crafty. I have a Cricut. I use it. I'm not that crafty, and I feel like it's kind of rocket science to use it, but there's people smarter than me in this world that can do stuff like that. But my niece makes shirts, like all kinds of shirts and all kinds of stuff that she sells with her with her Cricut. It's CRICUT.
It is, yes. And so
Yeah.
Cricut, so basically it just you can load in artwork and it cuts vinyl for you, so it works with vinyl. I've seen a lot of people make stickers and all kinds of stuff just using that kind of deal. I know that I was actually just having a conversation yesterday with one of my friends, and she works at Evil Intentions haunted house. She actually has invested in a sublimation type system. So she's got an inkjet printer that she pours like sublimation ink into, and she's been making like tumbler cups and things like that using that process. And she says it's so easy. So easy.
Yeah, stuff like these.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
you know, tumbler cups like these.
Yeah, so she's actually looking at putting a custom graphic together for Evil Intentions and selling these souvenir tumbler cups. People love them.
I mean, this one has my mom's name on it.
There
you know,
go. Love that.
I do. So we have about 12 minutes left on the broadcast, and I want to dive into, because Tina, you kind of were hinting at it, just cost. Like, is this expensive? Start small, things like that. And I want to dive kind of to what can be a deep topic here that could be a wormhole all to itself, or a seminar all to itself. But Tina, talk to me about food cost. I come from the restaurant world. I know exactly what food cost is and how to calculate that and how to figure things out. But some people watching may not know about food cost, how to treat markup. You know, you buy something like this, you have a product you're selling a cocktail or a mixed drink. What's the food cost on something like this for an event, and how do we mark it up, and how do we actually make money so that this becomes a thing we want to do every single year?
Oh my gosh, how much time do we have?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put like super simple beginners. This is the simplest beginners thing that you could go with. Take whatever it costs you. So you're thinking, if you have a hot dog, it's your bun, it's your hot dog itself, it's say 2 packets of ketchup, 2 packets of mustard, and a napkin. All in total, that costs you $1.25. I'm just throwing numbers out. Take that and triple it, and that's what you want to charge. I know that's 30%. And Tyler, you're probably like, holy mackerel, that's a high food cost. But for simplicity's sake, for beginner's sake, take whatever it costs you, triple it or quadruple it, and that's what you want to charge. If you're a little tiny hometown haunt, maybe people are not going to initially want to spend X amount high, but they'll spend $4, to get a hot dog. So take that cost, just triple it. You can get your cups for $1.25 a piece. If you can sell that drink for $4, I think you're in pretty good shape to begin with.
$28.
$28. That's Orlando. Sell your Blinky cup for $10. $10 is like a really good price. Or if you don't want to get it to 10, do your $9.
The hot dog at Disney we were talking about for the 50th is like $16. So, it's like, and that's the thing is like, yes, if you're just going to make a standard hot dog, then yes, triplet, keep it affordable, you're good to go. If you're going to do a hot dog that's slathered in chili and like that's like custom for your event, that you like something that's really done up, that is, well, yes, your food cost will increase, but instead of tripling it, times it by 5 or 6. Yeah. And then charge that. And so it's just like, here's the thing. There is marketing value to something that's unique. And so this right here, like you said, may cost Universal 50 cents or $1 to make. They're buying so many of these. Right. They're buying them in bulk, but it's their brand that's on it. It's like Apple. It's really just another computer, but you're paying for Apple.
We actually have a great comment here. So Chris Patty is asking for the source for the Blinky cups. And I know, Tina, that you have a source that you work with for Trader's Village. What is that link that we can throw up for them?
So it's Whirly Drinkworks. I don't know if you can see it. Whirly Drinkworks. Is there? Oh, they don't have it on here.
WHIRLY.
RLEY. Whirly Drinkworks.
Okay.
We'll get. They're awesome. They're everywhere. Yeah. Whirly is a really good place to start. And the fewer you buy, the more expensive they're going to be. But to do a really simple cup, reach out to them. They have reps in like every single state, everywhere. And if you can't find a rep and you want to reach out to the FearWorm people, I know I can probably give some suggestions. After this, or if you end up with a question about it, just reach out to the FearWorm folks, and I'm sure Laura knows how to get a hold of me.
Yeah, absolutely. And FearWormer Tashana is probably already working on this, but she'll put a link for Whirly there in the comments for you guys. But yeah, if anybody has any further questions for Tina, if you're looking at, if you're starting from square one and you're just like, oh my gosh, what do I need to do first? She did kind of touch on, I think health department is probably one of your square ones, but she'd be more than happy to kind of direct you. So feel free to comment below if you'd like more information and we can connect you. We really appreciate you guys being here today. Are there any further questions that maybe somebody would need to drop in the comments before we wrap? Or Tyler, did you have anything we needed to touch on?
I don't think so. I mean, we covered food costs. I think the other thing too you have to figure out is labor. Labor is part of food costs. How much time does it make a hot dog? Figure all that out. But yeah, we've pretty much covered everything. Tina, I do appreciate you coming on today.
Oh my gosh, no problem. We could have talked for 3 hours on all things food and beverage.
It's like, for people who don't know, like I used to be a chef, and then so when we start talking about, like, you're hitting on like two passions here, marketing and food, and so it's like, how are my brain starts going, and like I've already thought of like client drinks or like something a client could sell. Like I've been thinking about these things.
And I'm thinking about cupcakes right now. I think I might need to go and like find myself a cupcake.
I know,
and I'm hungry right now.
Like I'm definitely ready for a snack or a meal for sure myself. All this talk of food and beverage has me going, you know what? It's about that time.
Yeah, it really is.
And this is one of those topics too, like, to be honest, this is probably one of the most valuable wormholes that anybody could watch. There's a lot of information here that can help your event. Like, I think a lot of haunt owners get in a trap of, how do we make the haunt better? How do we make the haunt scarier? Don't worry about the haunt. Like, push that aside. What are other things you can do to pull more money out of your customers? Like,
to me, the show is important, absolutely. And I think like what Tyler means by push that aside is, yes, put your work into it, get it where it needs to be, but look at these other things outside of just the show. If you focused enough energy on your show, you've got to look at your creative, you've got to look at your marketing, you've got to look at your social media. You need to look at these things that bring people in. And then once they're there, your show's going to be great because you've trained your actors and you've got these awesome costumes. You've got that on lock. Well, when they exit the show, how are they going to feel about it then? Are they going to be in a great mood and ready to spend some money? Sell them some stuff. Let's get them some treats. Let's get them some extra stuff that'll
and lean on your marketing team. Be a partner. You are not like two separate ships floating in the ocean. And I think a lot of people feel that way, that what they're going to do is they're just going to market my stuff and I don't have to deal with them. Absolutely not. Be a partner.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Lean on them. I've been saying that, Tina. I'm glad you bring that up, because like your marketing team should have input into every aspect of your business, not just food and beverage and your marketing. Talk to us. Talk to your marketing team when you design a character, when you're designing a new room, when you're designing a scare. Like, we should have input into every aspect of your event, because marketing plays a part in it.
Because we know your target market. We know the people that are going to come and buy that ticket, and we know what they want. And to me, some of the most beneficial, fruitful conversations that I've ever had as a marketing person with a client, those are when we're just brainstorming and going back and forth. And I can tell you, our clients, some of my favorite conversations actually happen with like Rich from Brighton Asylum. He's like, I'm thinking about adding axe throwing and I don't know what to call it. He has been, pulling his hair out for however long, but then he has a 5-minute conversation with us and walks away with a name that he's happy with and
that's awesome.
Direction for his logo. Like, it just makes it that easy for him. So that across the board, we love to have those relationships with our clients. And to me, that's what makes a great marketing person and a great marketing partner.
And just remember that food is a marketing tool.
Yep.
Food is a huge marketing tool.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Food will bring people back.
Yeah, you can't go to a
It
movie
will
theater and see a
bring
movie
them back.
without buying your popcorn.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
that olfactory thing, right? Where it's like your sensory stuff, you will recall that. You almost can like certain smells. It's like it brings back memories and everything. To me, food is kind of that same way. You're going to remember that really great milkshake you
So
had.
I'm going to do the boring part here at the end. So all the people that stayed, I'm going to do some math on the calculator. And let's just assume that you're an event that people love, that you're fairly established, but you did 5,000 people last year. And let's just say half of them, that's 2,500 people, half of them want to buy a shirt or buy merch or things like that. So on 5,000 people, let's say your ticket price is $30. So your gross revenue is going to be roughly $150,000. But half wants to buy a t-shirt. Let's say the goal here is to squeeze another $30 out of everybody that's there. Okay, well, 2,500 times $30 is an extra $75,000 on top of those customers. And so, like, is that worth it? Yeah, that's worth it. You know, it's like, and maybe 30% of that is your food cost. Let's do the math on that. Let's see, calculator, 75,000 minus, there we are. That still leaves you a profit of 52,500. So is it worth it?
That's what we call incremental
that can pay
revenue.
for your entire marketing budget. That can pay for your payroll. That can pay for your rent. I mean, that's money that you're leaving on the table because you have this experiential event that people love, and you're not taking advantage of these things to get more money out of people while they're there. They pay the $30. They go through the haunt. Whether to just leave, you've just left money on the table.
Absolutely.
A lot of haunted attraction owners, I think, they definitely want to sell more tickets. They want to sell more tickets every year. Well, some of them might be experiencing like stagnation. They've kind of hit what we call like market saturation. They're not able to really increase the number of tickets that they're selling. You've got to look at other avenues then to increase your revenue. And this is definitely one where it's beneficial for the experience.
It's not always about foot in the door. It's not always about the foot traffic. Like your attendance, what'll happen with most businesses, you're going to go up, you're going to grow, and then you're going to hit a level where you flatten out. Then you just got to hold. You just got to hold that flat line. But how do you generate revenue? Like I always say, as an agency, it's like our goal isn't always increasing your attendance. It's increasing your revenue, because that's really what we want to increase. And this is one of those ways. This is one of those ways we can help increase revenue. So I'm glad you touched on that.
Absolutely.
Tina, thank you so much. This is the end of the wormhole. This has been a fantastic chat.
This was fun.
And we can, like I said, we can keep going for hours and days on this, especially in this topic, which I have a lot of passion for. But yeah, thank you again for coming. How can people get a hold of you? If they have questions, like how can people get a hold of you?
You can come find me at Traders Village, which you guys will be doing tomorrow.
We will see you tomorrow.
Yes. Or I can be reached at Tina, Tina, at tradersvillage.com. I think that there's a post. Yeah, our link is actually in the chat, but it's Tina at tradersvillage.com. And if you don't remember that and you wake up in the middle of the night and have burning questions, just reach out to your FearWorm team and they can put you in touch.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Tina, thank you so much. This is pretty much the end of the wormhole here. Tina, if you can, just hang out just for a second after the outro plays. But again, thank you so much. And y'all, thanks for watching today. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye.
If you have an interest in being a guest on the Wormhole or an idea for a topic of discussion, please email admin@fearworm.com.